Alright people, the new Transformers movie is coming out soon, and we need to think of some new characters to add. Anyone has any ideas? Yes, Fire, you may speak. Well, I was thinking, since this is gonna be connected to the live action movies, I think we should... Actually, this movie will not be connected. Wait, what? Yes, this movie will be set in its own universe. Wait, so what's the point of having Orion Pax and Optimus and the origin of the war and B-127 if you're not gonna connect it to the movies? For marketing, of course. We'll pretend like it's connected to the movies, but we won't announce that outright. You're literally doing what you did with Rise of the Beast again. Precisely! Got a problem, Fire? No, sir. But while we're at it, I think there's a bunch of new characters we can at least introduce. Maybe some fan favorites like Ultra Magnus and... Nah, that's pretty cringe. We wanna make the Bayverse connection even better. So let's add some old Transformers Bayverse characters. That's actually not a bad idea. I was thinking maybe we could bring Jazz back. I mean, the dude hasn't been in anything since 2007. And Robots in Disguise, but we don't talk about that. Great idea! Make it happen! How about other characters that are relevant to the movies like Sentinel Prime, Barricade, and so on? You know, if you're gonna add all these characters, why not might as well make this movie just straight up connected to Rise of the Beast and the Bumblebee movie? Or even the Bayverse, since you're so akin to adding all these Bayverse characters? Why not just admit that it's a reboot once and for all? Well, you see, Fire, my head of marketing, Lorenzo here, oh god dang it, says that wouldn't be financially suitable. We must make things as needlessly confusing as possible. But how does that help anyone? I just like seeing the fans suffer. Oh come on, you can't trust what this guy's saying. Everything he says is a lie. I love Transformers. Shut up, Fire! Lorenzo has spoken and we trust him. He hasn't failed us yet. Here we go again. Hey guys, the Fire Brothers here. It's just me. My brother couldn't be here today because he ate at Burger King. I just love that that's the reason. Not even like he exploded or anything. He just ate at Burger King and that was it. Probably says a lot about the place. But anyways, these are the jokes. Hopefully you guys are enjoying them. So, I hope you guys enjoyed the little skit I did at the beginning. It's been a while since I did them, but people told me that they really like when I used to do them back in the day. And I'll do more of them for my upcoming videos. Though, don't expect them to appear in every single upload. Anyways, Transformers 1 is coming out very soon. And, I mean, half a year away by the time of this recording. And we've already gotten quite a few leaks for, you know, what the robot cast for the movie is going to be. So, in this video, I want to talk to you guys about who I think will appear in the movie. And which characters have a higher likelihood of being in it than others, and what the criteria is for certain characters appearing and around how many we will see. But anyways, before we go on, I want to make a little announcement. On Friday, I'm gonna be streaming again the Transformers Armada game. For every donation I get, I'm forced to do one push-up, and people have been donating all the time to like get me to mess up when I'm fighting the bosses of the game. If you guys know anything about that game, it's basically the Dark Souls of Transformers. For my last live stream, I beat Cyclonus and Tidal Wave. For my next live stream, I'm gonna be doing the Starscream levels in Alaska. So if you guys want to drop in and be part of the fun, I'll be live around Friday 8 PM Eastern Standard Time, more or less. So you guys can enjoy my suffering. But anyways, going back to the topic of this video, Transformers 1. Before we start speculating as to what characters are going to be in the movie, we should first do a roll call of all the characters that are confirmed to appear in the movie. So starting with the Autobot cast, we have Orion Pax / Optimus Prime, who will become Optimus Prime later in the movie, Elita 1, Bumblebee, Sentinel Prime, Alpha Trion, Jazz, Sideswipe, Prowl, Chromia, and Ratchet. And for the Decepticons we have D16, which will later become Megatron, Darkwing, and Airachnid. With Starscream with the voice actor from Animated being Rumor, and Soundwave and Shockwave also being Rumor. So that's around 11 characters so far. A pretty decent roster, but the thing is that this is still not the final roster. When the trailer drops either by the end of this month or early next month, which is what it's scheduled to be at the moment, we will likely learn about more characters that are slated to be in the movie. But anyways, before we start speculating as to what characters are gonna be in the movie, we need to ask the question as to why were these characters chosen. Now, there are very interesting characters in this roster so far, like Sentinel Prime and Jazz, two characters that are very prevalent in the Bayverse. Well, I mean, not so much Jazz, but Sentinel Prime used to be a main villain in the Dark of the Moon movie. And Starscream, Soundwave, and Shockwave are some of the, most recognizable and iconic Decepticons out there, and they're very prevalent in the Bayverse as well as the Reboot movies. Well, at least for that one scene in the Bumblebee movie. Now, this movie will also connect to the Reboot timeline, because Bumblebee will be called B-127 in the movie, a name that was first used in the Bumblebee movie. And the thing about this movie, while it's more likely than not definitely connected to the Reboot timeline as opposed to the Bayverse, the inclusion of characters like Sentinel Prime and Jazz do indicate that they still want to keep like the connectivity to the Bayverse loose. Transformers 1, for what it was stated, it's gonna be separated from the live action movies. But it looks like they're still adding elements from like the live action movies, so this movie kind of acts as a pseudo prequel to the events of both timelines. Which means that right off the bat, certain characters like Megatron, Optimus, Bumblebee, Elita are probably not gonna die, because they need to appear later in the Reboot movies and of course the Michael Bay movies respectively. Is this really annoying thing that Lorenzo and Paramount are doing? They're not outright stating that the movies are a reboot, but they're leaving it big enough so the Bayverse fans will still check out these movies, and the people who didn't like the Bayverse movies can come and check out these movies, enjoy the different aesthetic and the new timeline and everything. It's stupid, I know, I make fun of it at the beginning, but now that we're done with that, what characters can we expect to see? Well, before we decide on like which ones, we need to decide on how big will our roster be. Now, by virtue of being an animated movie, you can have way more characters on screen than in live action, because in live action you need to, focus on the characters not only, looking real with the environment and all, and their CGI models, and how to interact with the world, but with an animated movie you have more freedom. You can design how the animated world looks like, and you can add way more characters in there. That's not to say that animation is inherently lesser or easier than live action movies, that's just to say how usually things are. And the last, animated Transformers movie ever, which was the G1 movie, not counting Predacons Rising because that was also 3D animation, had a roster that was this big. Now granted, not all of these characters got to, do much in the movie, a lot of them kind of just appear to just die. That's actually what the 1986 Transformers movie is mostly known for. I believe that Transformers 1 will have a roster that's gonna be kind of like this, but a little smaller. The 86 movie has around 90 characters, Autobots, Decepticons, humans, Junkions, Unicron, and everything in between included. Now, while I don't think the Transformers 1 roster is gonna be that huge, it's still gonna be pretty huge. And since this is also basing it on the origin story of Optimus Prime and Megatron, my guess is that we could, realistically see a lot of characters that are maybe, important to the lore, and it also seems to, kind of be following the original IDW and Transformers Prime, origin story as a baseline for the events of this movie. I mean, hell, Airachnid's even in it, and she has nothing to do with the live action movies at all. So right off the bat, I think we'll see the 2007 cast, for the Autobots at least. So Ironhide, Ratchet, and Jazz. Like, it only makes sense, they're very iconic, probably the most iconic Autobot group out of all the movies. Maybe with the exception of Dark of the Moon and even the Rise of the Beast movie. But Ironhide and Ratchet being close friends with Orion Pax / Optimus Prime is something that has been established throughout the franchise, so I could totally see them coming back. For the Decepticons, again, while these are still rumor, I do think Shockwave, Soundwave, and Starscream are a guarantee. You can't have a Transformers origin story without those guys. I also do think Barricade's gonna be in the movie, and maybe the 07 Decepticon cast. I really wish they appear in the movie. I would love to have Barricade, Blackout, Bone Crusher, and Brawl. But I think that we'll only see Barricade and Blackout. Like, Bone Crusher, Brawl, Frenzy, and all the... Well, okay, well, if I'm having Soundwave, then yes, I guess we'll see Frenzy, Rumble, and Laserbeak be in it, because it only makes sense. Those are like the iconic cassettes. But while Brawl and Bone Crusher were, the Decepticons that appear in the first Transformers movie, I don't think they are that memorable enough to be in this movie. I think that those characters will be skipped. And since we're having Lita 1 here, I think we'll also have RC and Chromia in here. They might keep the whole sister dynamic from Revenge of the Fallen as a way to tie it in to Revenge of the Fallen, because remember, in the Bayverse, Elita 1, RC, and Chromia are sisters. So it'll be weird to have Elita 1 here and not RC and Chromia, since they're trying to have this somewhat connected to the Bayverse, even though it really shouldn't. We might also get some like Age of Extinction / TOK love in here. I could see Hound and Drift making it into the movie, especially if they followed the IDW origin story of Drift, in which he was kind of like a nobody, you know, just roaming the streets until he joins the Decepticons and then the Autobots. Like, I could see Drift being in the movie, but I think Hound has a higher chance of being in it, because out of the whole, you know, latter half of the Age of Extinction Autobots, I feel like he is one of those, you know, characters that most people seem to, you know, to like, or at least be tolerant to. And going back to the Decepticons, I guess we could also probably see the Constructicons, though I'm a bit like hesitant about them, because I mean, yeah, they are iconic and we could totally see them in the background. Like, I feel like the Constructicons will have a lot to do on Cybertron. I mean, you know, they are Constructicons, they build stuff, so in my opinion we could totally see them in the background, you know, just like doing menial labor or whatever, and then they join the Decepticons. I think we will also probably see the Driller, which I know that sounds weird, but since we're on Cybertron and we're probably now only gonna see, you know, Autobots and Decepticons, we might see some of the environment around Cybertron and what kind of other life there's around the planet. I feel like adding the Driller will make sense and will add that connectivity with Dark of the Moon. Since Rise of the Beast basically canonized mercenaries, I think we could probably see Lockdown in the movie, maybe as like a background character, just like roaming around the streets or something along those lines. But it would be weird to have the main villain of Age of Extinction kind of, you know, just be in the background, not doing much, or like, you know, be a very, you know, minor side character. So when it comes to Lockdown, I'm a bit hesitant to say that he'll make it into the movie. I think they'll probably skip him. But I could definitely see some of the Suicide Cons making it into this movie. I know it sounds insane, but I mean, with Studio Series prioritizing TOK lately and introducing the Suicide Cons with Mohawk and a bunch of other characters, I could totally see at least Nitro Suits making it into the movie. You kinda need some more filler Decepticons, and since Nitro Suits is just a reskin of Shockwave, that would be a very easy model for, you know, them to make. So I think Nitro Suits has the highest chance out of the Suicide Cons. And maybe even the Dreads, because you do need filler type of villains, and introducing the Dreads on Cybertron, unless they're like this Black Ops elite unit that hunts down our good guys, I could totally see them making it into the movie. But that's about it for the Bayverse cast that could realistically come back. When it comes to the Reboot timeline, which has less characters to work with, I think the Maximals, Predacons, and Terracons are gonna skip this movie out. I don't see them having a place here and not messing up the timeline. What little connectivity there is between BB and Rise of the Beast. I honestly doubt that we will see them, but I really want Shatter and Dropkick to come back. The fandom loves them, I love them, but Hasbro hasn't done much with these characters since their debut in the BB movie. I feel like adding them here just adds that extra connectivity, and it is sort of implied that them, along with Blitzwing, who's also another character that I think can make it here, are familiar with B-127, aka Bumblebee. While I don't think they'll be major relevant characters, I think having them here as side characters to kind of just witness that rise of the Decepticons, and of course Bumblebee, you know, betrayed the Decepticons and joined the Autobots, will add that connectivity with the Bumblebee movie, which will be perfect. So our Decepticon trio from the Bumblebee movie has a very high likelihood of being in this movie. It'll be weird not to have them. And Cliffjumper's another character I can totally see it making it into this movie. Cliffjumper's dead, but I feel like giving him some action in Transformers 1 will, you know, kind of make fans be less annoyed with his death, as like, hey, at least he got to be a badass in Transformers 1. And being a reskin of Bumblebee, just a, you know, a red Bumblebee with a different head, it's another one of those models you can actually make really quickly and on the fly. And as for Rise of the Beast, as much as I would like to say that Transit makes it into the movie, I think he's one of those characters that's just kind of in limbo and probably won't appear in Transformers 1, though I really do hope he's in it. And as for Wheeljack and Mirage, I don't know, like, look, Mirage was a big deal in Rise of the Beast, a very big character, you know, you could even say he was one of the main protagonists of the movie, but I don't know, like, I don't see a place for Mirage here. Maybe in the background, maybe he'll appear in the background, but I kind of have a feeling they're gonna skip Mirage. And as for Wheeljack, I don't know, I think Wheeljack's gonna be another character they skip, along with Stratosphere. But that's about it for the characters from the live action movies that I think are gonna be in the movie. But now that opens up a whole other can of worms. What about the characters that haven't appeared in any of the Transformers movies that are gonna appear in this movie? And for that, you know, it's a whole lot harder to predict. I mean, we know that Airachnid is in here, we know that much. But I'm gonna go and say I think Ratbat's also in the movie. Recently, we got the Legacy Origins pack with Orion Pax and Senator Shockwave and Minor Megatron and Ratbat, who's, you know, his this main supporter in the Cybertronian Council. I could see him appearing here because he's also one of those IDW like lore relevant characters, along with like the High Council, including other characters like Halogen. Like this movie is like introducing a lot of like lore heavy characters like Sentinel Prime and Alpha Trion. So someone like Halogen also being in the movie, and maybe even Ultra Magnus, because again, fan favorite character. People have been begging for Ultra Magnus since Dark of the Moon. We kind of got that with Sentinel Prime somewhat, and in the reboot timeline we do know that at least Ultra Magnus exists and he looks a lot like Optimus Prime. So I think introducing Ultra Magnus is also a very likely possibility, though again I can't say with 100% certainty that it's 100% confirmed. I could also see Tarn making it into the movie, but I'm very like iffy on this one. Like again, another character that has been, you know, slowly being pushed into relevance by Cyberverse and even Legacy, but I feel like he's also one of those characters that you kind of save up for later, you just don't use immediately, especially for an origin story like this one. Oh, and of course I almost forgot, Skywarp, Thundercracker, and a bunch of other Seekers. If you're gonna have Starscream here, then you know, the inevitable Starscream Seeker, you know, recolors are gonna follow suit. So those are more likely than not also confirmed to appear in the movie. But I think that's about it, because realistically those are like the major, you know, lore characters that could appear in the movie, and also based on the roster that we have so far, these are the characters that I think are more likely not going to appear in the movie. Again, characters like Airachnid being here is weird, but I think she's one of those characters that's just here and she's not gonna do much. She's just a background character that they threw in there as a cool Transformers Prime reference. And that's the second thing. I feel like this movie is gonna have a huge roster, but most of those characters are gonna be background characters. Like again, I might say Ultra Magnus is in the movie, but that doesn't mean he's gonna be a main character. He might be a side character that just tells the troops move forward as they push forward and, you know, start shooting Decepticons. That might be as far as his role goes, which in all honesty, I really don't mind, because frankly, I would like a more focused Transformers movie focusing around, you know, Optimus, Lita, Bumblebee, and Megatron, who are gonna be our main characters. And I feel like having a huge roster also kind of takes away from us having a more focused and, you know, more well-developed story and movie. I feel like if you are like a bazillion characters, it kind of takes away from the movie and it makes it lesser. Think of it like Revenge of the Fallen all over again. That movie had a huge roster, but how many of them got more than 2 minutes of screen time? And I think that's about it. That's what a lot of people need to know going into this movie. We are gonna see a lot of characters. Some of them are gonna have a bigger role than others. I don't think Jazz and Airachnid are gonna do much, even though they're already confirmed to be in the movie. But in all honesty, I think this is probably for the best. But now I'm gonna pass it to push out to you guys. Which characters do you think are gonna be in this movie? Remember, it's an origin story, it's trying to connect to the Bayverse and the Reboot universe, but keeping it big, and we can expect to see tons of characters in the background from other Transformers shows, series, and stuff. Honestly, the possibilities are endless, and a lot of the characters that I mentioned in this video, like Tarn, while I'm personally very doubtful they'll appear in the movie, there's still a very large likelihood that they might be in it. Only time will tell, and as we're getting closer and closer to the Transformers 1 trailer, we will soon find out if I was right on the money, like I usually am, or maybe if I reached too far. Maybe the movie will have like a bazillion characters, or maybe we'll have a more condensed roster. We don't know just yet, but you know what? We're getting closer and closer to our first trailer. So very soon, we will find out the truth. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video, guys. Hopefully you all enjoy. I just wanted to do a prediction video, not that the Transformers 1 hype train is just starting, and I won't be able to make a video like this after the first trailer comes out. So yeah. As always guys, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Do all the annoying YouTuber stuff that the algorithm likes so much. And I will see you all in the next video. Stay safe, guys. Anyways, guys, before we go, shout out to our super incredible Patreons and channel members: Scout, James Newbold, Crawley666, TF Cypher, Legend of Soup, King Sparta, Crazy T-Rex, Orion 64 Studios, Super Sailors Homer Hedgehogs, Xavier.God, Stage Productions, Scrub Lordo, and Predaking Hunter Plays. And also our channel members: Scrub Lordo, Obstination Reviews, TF Cypher, Laser Sin, The Crazy T-Rex, and Lord Skywarp. Thank you guys for your support, it's much appreciated. If you become a channel member or a patron, you get access to exclusive videos I haven't released yet. You get to collab with me in some of my videos if you so choose to, and gain access to channel exclusive emojis and a bunch of other stuff. You also get a shout out to your channel in the description down below, so be sure to check out those guys, as a lot of them are up and coming YouTubers who need all the help they can get. But keep in mind this is entirely optional, because freedom is the right of all sentient beings. Thank you guys for your support, it's much appreciated, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye guys.